So welcome everybody. So lovely to see new faces, and lovely to see the regulars as always. There is a very simple format to these calls, and that is that I usually start with announcements, then we have questions and answers, and then the last section is Quantum Touch Group Healing. So we do it in that order, mainly because if we have this lovely healing bit at the end, and I feel all warm and fuzzy, you feel all warm and fuzzy, and nobody wants to hear announcements. I used to try and do it that way, and then I'd always forget. So we're doing announcements up front, and then we do questions. And it can be any question that you have on spirituality, health, healing, quantum touch. I know a lot of people have found this call through quantum touch. So anything around that, or spirituality, health, healing, all that kind of malarkey. And then we go on to the healing section, which is about 15-20 minutes, depending on the questions. And that's it, really. So you're all muted at the moment, and that's just so you're not on the call, as I explained earlier on the recording. But if you would like to ask a question, you can do so by unmuting your mic or putting your hand up, the digital hand up on Zoom, or putting a question into the chat box. So announcements first. So the first thing is, you've all made it to this call, so I'm assuming you all got my email, but I thought it was worth mentioning because I've had a few complaints that people have missed the discounts or the healing call reminders. So for some unknown reason, which is unfathomable to me, some emails go into people's junk files. And so I've spoken to Microsoft, I've spoken to the platform that sends out the emails, and we're none the wiser. So now I'm just going to ask everybody that if you haven't done so already, if you can put me in your contacts, or don't, make sure that if it goes into your junk file to unspam me. And that way you get all the emails. There's not many of them, but they are the call reminders, so they're quite important. So every month you'll get a call reminder, the newsletter. I try and put as much as I can on one newsletter, so you don't get lots of random emails from me with lots of bits, and then anything to do with upcoming classes. So I've put my email address into the chat box, info@sharonawson.co.uk. So if you can save that to somewhere that it doesn't go into your junk, then that's really cool. So that's the email. So on the newsletter in May, I told everyone that I was having a Quantum Touch sale, which most things have actually now gone. So I'm just going to show you the one item that is left. So if anybody wants this lovely necklace, this one's the Pura Vida necklace. It's sold out on Quantum Touch HQ. It's on sale. It also has, so I don't know if everyone realizes that these necklaces are really beautiful. This one smells really nice, smells of sandalwood. But the pendant is here. So there is a pendant on this as well. So a lot of people are interested in the pendant. You get this lovely necklace. So it's the last item that's on sale. So it was £91, it's now £61. And it's just because I've decided I'm no longer selling Quantum Touch merchandise. So if you want it, there's only one item, there's only one piece. If you want it, it's up for sale. The only other things to mention are that I'm only doing 2 more classes, workshops for Quantum Touch this year. So one is in July, one is in October. I haven't finalised the October dates, but the July dates are finalised. So it is 5th to the 8th of June, 5th to the 8th of July, 2 o'clock to 5:30. So that's over 4 consecutive afternoons. So if you want to join, July and October are the months. And last announcement, you'll be pleased to hear, is just that the next thing coming up for me is I have decided to do a course. So I've been in the past, I've been kind of doing classes, some master classes on intuition and meditation. But I decided to do a 7 steps to personal power. So it's 7 steps, but it's actually 8 weeks. And the reason it's 8 weeks is so that we can practice everything as we go along. And then on the 8th week, it is just questions and going through any kind of questions that you've got after you've actually practiced the 7 steps. So that's why it's 8 weeks, not 7. It sounds a bit weird, but that's the reason why. And if anyone knows me at all, you'll know I'm terrible with time and I never leave enough time for questions. So we will actually have a full hour for questions. So that is me. I'm just going to check. Yeah, okay, there's nobody else waiting. So that's me. That's all the announcements. I'm going to be sending an email out shortly with the details of that 8-week course, but 7 steps. And I'll be doing some live events just to talk through it as well. What you can expect from the course, a bit more about personal power as well, and sort of see if it's right for you. You can join in or not, it's up to you. So I'm going to do some live, probably on Instagram and probably just on Zoom as well. So that's me done for announcements. And so with the questions, I've already had a question from Norman. Norman, you and I usually have issues with our audio, but hopefully they're okay. So I can either read the question, Norman, or you can ask the question if you want to, your choice. Okay, so I'll read it, no worries. Okay, so Norman asked the question about those who have passed over. So he's asked, is it possible to get in touch with those that have gone before to thank those who've been kind or have done some favours for you, or any act of kindness that maybe you didn't have an opportunity to thank them for, including parents and people like that? So the answer to that question, Norman, is yes. You can say all those lovely things and you can offer thanks, but you may not hear the answer. Okay, so I think it's always nice to, even if someone has passed away, they can still hear you. They're not in a position to always be able to respond, but they can indeed receive what you're saying to them. Bear with me 1 second. I heard a beep, but I can't see anything. Okay. So I'm a big believer in saying things out loud. The only thing that I would say is that, you know, it's a very different place, the world of spirit. So once they've passed over, do they need your thanks or appreciation? Who knows? But I would say that if you feel the urge that you feel like you missed saying it in this lifetime, then yeah, of course you can offer that up to spirit. It's a little bit different. So I'm just going to answer your question. I'm just going to mention your second part of your question so that it makes sense. Because you asked also that if you were to offer this thanks or offer appreciation, will it help their spirit move to a higher level? Okay, so to talk about this in a more kind of rounded way, is that when someone passes over, they're usually very, very happy. They're usually ecstatically happy. We don't have to worry about them. And most spirits go to the light, right? So there is an in-between period between when they pass and when they go to the light, where you can have a quite a decent conversation still with them, okay? But then once they go to the light, and that's what we refer to as like higher levels, language is much more difficult. We're not really in a human configuration of this one person that we were on Earth. We were more at the soul level. So that's why you have mediums, and that's why you have other people who bring people through and act as like a go-between for people who've passed over. Now, does it help anyone at the higher levels? Most people just go straight to the higher levels, so there's no hanging around. The people who hang around are the ones with unfinished business, or people who want to have an effect on this life still, or people in this life, and they do need help to go to the higher levels. And maybe they do need to hear something, but it doesn't as a per se help them to the higher levels. So like sometimes we have ancestors who influence us once they've passed away, and you do have to have a proper chat with them in order to help them go to the higher, go to the light. But apart from that, I would say that if you want to show your appreciation for people who've passed over, yep, they could hear it. Yep, they could appreciate it if they want to. But at a soul level, they're not just one person. They're all the souls that they've been. They've been all the incarnations that they've been. Does that answer the question? Okay, cool. Okay. I'm very confused because I can hear all these dings, but I can't see anything else. Okay, so if, oh, sorry, I have got admit all. Sorry, I've missed 2 more people. Sorry. Thought I heard a little bell ring. Right. Okay, for those joining the call, apologies that you were waiting. Okay, so does anyone else have any questions they would like to ask? If you want to, you can do so in the chat, or you can unmute your mic or put your hand up and just unmute yourself. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so Sig, thank you very much. Turn off the waiting room is under the participants. Give me 1 sec, I'm just going to turn off the waiting room. Under participants. Oh, I haven't got that option. Okay, let me see. Bear with me. No, I can't find that. Okay, never mind. We'll carry on. There shouldn't be too many people. I know some people are coming later. Okay, so Lauren has asked, I'm not sure what quantum touch is. Okay. All right, so we've got some questions. So quantum touch, just to answer that very briefly, is a form of energy healing. It is, you know, if you know things like Reiki, Reiki is a form of energy healing. It's utilizing life force energy. And so it's the transfer of life force energy, high vibration energy to the person who wants healing. And their inner healer then takes that energy and uses that to heal. So that's quantum touch in its most basic form. Why is it called quantum touch? Well, quantum, we're talking about working on the energetic level, so at the subatomic level. And we work on the subatomic level, and then it comes through to the world of form, which is our bodies and the world of form around us. So we're working at the quantum level when we're talking about energy. And then the word touch was because originally we felt that, you know, and there's a lot of hands-on healing, so we feel like there had to be physical touch. Now we kind of realize we can do it all at a distance, and we don't actually need to physically touch each other in order to do healing work. We can all do it at a distance. But that's a very, very top line explanation, Lauren. Okay. Oh, Alice, that's a very good question. Did you want to speak, or did you want to just leave it in the chat box? No, okay. So Alice is just asking, wondering about the difference between being in gratitude and settling. That's a really good question. Okay, so I would actually say it's well, okay, let's start at the beginning. So gratitude is a facet of love, right? So when we are grateful for something, there is an element of appreciation and maybe some joy, maybe some peace, right? And love, obviously. And settling doesn't feel like that at all, right? It has a very different energetic feeling tone, right? Because settling, even by the word, has this inference of resistance, right? I don't want to settle. I'm settling for something I don't want or I don't like, right? So there's a judgment in there already that I don't really like it, but maybe it's the best that I can have. So that kind of feeling tone comes from the mind, right? The mind says, I've judged something, it's not great, but I'll accept it because that's the best that I can get, right? That's kind of settling, right? So that's the best I think I can get is the sort of thing a mind says. It's not something the universe says, not something your intuition says, not something your heart says, right? So settling has a very different tone. It comes from more of a sense of lack. I can't get anything better, or I don't have what it takes. So there's that lack is in there. And so it has that sense within it of not good enough. So something in there already implicit, there's a judgment of not good enough. Right. And so something isn't good enough has a very different feeling tone. And then yet again, there is the idea of acceptance. And that's slightly different too. So acceptance and non-judgment are part of love. It's part of unconditional love. So we may be grateful for an experience. We may accept it's come into our experience. We can be accepting of that, and we can not judge it. And once we've done all of that, we can decide, but that's not for me. Okay. So we can look at it with a sense of neutrality and say, okay, it's not maybe what I would prefer, but I accept it. I'm grateful it's here. It's teaching me something, and I'm not going to judge it. But if I was to give myself a preference as to what I feel is most aligned for me in my life, I have the ability to choose something else, right? So that's more an empowering way of looking at something, compared with, for example, saying, I don't think I can get any better. I don't really want this experience. Yeah, okay, I'll accept it, but I don't really want to, begrudgingly. And so there's nothing really positive on that side of settling. So I'd say they have very different feeling tones. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I guess recognizing the gift, that there is a gift in there somewhere. And then not saying it's, it's not forever. There might be some movement, and you're open to that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the thing. The mind will say, this is forever, or there's no end to this. And so you kind of have to accept it. Whereas spirit kind of says, there's a gift in here. There's a learning in here. You don't have to have this for the whole of your life. Why? Because there's only the now. So for now, we accept it. For now, we kind of say, okay, what's here? Maybe there's something here and I can't see it. And so, yeah, there's usually a gift in something that we are resisting. But once we surrender it and we let go and try and stop resisting it, we can usually find a gift in there.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So. Okay, so Leslie's asked a really great question here about keeping your energy separate from other people. When people are angry or charged up, or they've got some kind of chaotic energy, it's difficult to not take on their energy. Okay, so this is actually really common. So this is why something like quantum touch is a really, really good practice. So what we say in quantum touch is that whoever holds the dominant vibration the other people around you have to come up through enchainment and resonance. They have to come up to meet you. Now, if the dominant vibration is negative, then everyone sinks down to that level of vibration, right? Or the alternative, you meet somewhere in the middle, okay? So how do you keep your energy separate from others? Well, one is the intention that you're going to keep it separate. You can do a lot through intention. You can use your finger and create a nice little boundary line in which the intention is that no one else's energy is going to affect you, and only good stuff comes in and only good stuff goes out, and nothing negative goes through that boundary line. That's one way of doing it. But also, we all kind of rub off on each other energetically, right? We all kind of do, because we're all in the same energetic soup, if you like. But if you're the one holding the dominant vibration, then other people tune into you. So I would always say it's always great to, you know, hold that vibration as high as you can. So if you know quantum touch, or you know other breathing exercises, breath work and breathing is a really good way to hold your vibration. Just thinking about something positive, or taking yourself away, giving yourself some space and thinking about something positive is a good way. If you've got an ability to listen to music that uplifts you, that's a really fast way of making your vibration go high. So part of that is just is having a conscious choice to keep your vibration high. Now, there will be some very dominant vibrations that are quite negative, and the way that people break that natural resonance and entrainment is usually through judgment. So judgment is one of those things that severs the connection through separation. So, you know, you're being very nice, somebody's coming up to your level, they were really angry, they want to stay angry, they don't want to be happy, they want to be angry because they've got themselves fired up. And so the way that people cut that is they use judgment. And so people might be mean, but we stay out of judgment. If we stay out of judgment, we stay out of that, we create some spaciousness around ourselves, then that person, by natural law of physics, either they get too uncomfortable because you're holding a high vibration and they'll walk away, or they'll have to come up to meet you. So vibration is really important in stuff like this. And the other thing is, and I don't know this about you, Leslie, you might want to share, you can unmute your mic if you want to, is that if you're an empath, empaths are more common to pick up other people's emotions, actual feeling other people's emotions. And so if you're quite empathetic, then you may well pick up other people's emotions. However, the key thing would be is conscious choice, and that is you're kind of giving your power away to others by letting their energy and their emotions affect you. So in order to not give your power away, you can do like a bit of a cleanse at the end of the day. There's a really good sentence, I'll give it to you now, to make sure that you kind of walk away from situations that you have your energy and the other person has their energy and you haven't mixed it all up. And that is, I call in all that is divinely mine. So I call back everything that is meant for me, that is my stuff. I call in everything that is divinely mine. Anything that is not mine, I return to source with love. And we do it with love, not with I've picked up all your emotions and it's terrible. We send it back with love and we say, this isn't mine. We say it quite neutrally. What's mine is mine. What's not mine, you can have back, universe, back to source. So you can use that as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do, but I would say vibration, keeping your vibration high. And we do that by non-judgment, because love is an unconditional love, is not judging. And it's with the conscious choice that we're not going to allow someone else's vibration to take us out of our natural state. Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, so Lauren, your follow-up question was about quantum touch. You're not using their energy. So in quantum touch, we're not using we're not using anyone's personal energy. What we're doing is that we are cultivating life force energy within ourselves, and we transfer that to the person who would like the healing energy, and then their inner healer does the healing. So it's in quantum touch with facilitators to the other person's inner healer. But it's not your personal energy. It's not it's not your personal energy. You don't give your energy to somebody. It's more that life force energy, you're generating it and it's coming through you. So you get the benefit of the energy coming through you, high vibrational energy coming through you. And the person who is receiving that energy is also receiving high vibration energy, but you're not giving anything of yourself personally to somebody else. So that's really important. So that's a great question. Okay, so next question. Okay, so Tanya's asked me, how do I know if I'm in a state of high vibration and therefore dominant? Okay, so the three highest states of vibration that we have as humans are love, peace, and joy. Okay, so love is the vibration from which healing begins. Then we have joy, and then we have peace. If you're feeling those, you're the highest vibration. It's kind of as simple as that. And so with, so as I said before, when there's judgment, it's not a high vibration. It's what kind of severs the vibration of love. So anything, so I'll point you to a really good way to look at this. There's a lot of books by Dr. David R. Hawkins. I'm a big fan of his. His most famous book is Power versus, you're nodding, yeah, yes, Leslie. Power versus Force. But he has a scale of consciousness and he has a scale of emotions. And an easy way of looking at it is the emotions that we tend to talk about as negative, and I put them in inverted commas, negative emotions. So shame, guilt. Shame and guilt are the two lowest vibrations. And then we have kind of like anger, and then we kind of get into a state of neutrality, and then we have sort of like reason and hope and things like that. As you go up the scale, the things that we tend to call positive emotion is usually the higher vibrations. So it's one of those things whereby you can have a very, very strong dominant vibration that's negative, and you can have a really, really strong dominant vibration that is positive. So you might ask, well, which one wins? The positive, because it's more powerful by its very nature. So love, peace, and joy are the most powerful states we have, and shame, guilt, anger, and grief are the lowest power forces, energetic forces that we have. So that's how you know. And you can cultivate that sense of love, peace, and joy within yourself quite, you know, with practice. And you'll kind of know when you are, because your body will feel lighter, your body will feel nice, you'll be more open. We have all those lovely sensations of expansion. So that's kind of like how you would tell. Okay, any other questions or any other comments on that? I mean, people, you know, if anyone wants to answer that in the chat box as well, feel free to chat away about these subjects too. Okay. Right, okay, yeah. Okay, Lauren, I see what you're saying. Okay. Any other questions? I can't see if anyone's got their hands up. Okay. No, okay, all right. It seems like all our questions for today. So then we go on to the healing side of things. Okay, so we're going to be doing some quantum touch group healing. And so I set a intention for the group. There seems to have been a number of people today who messaged me about flow of money. And so I don't normally include it specifically, but I'm going to include it because who doesn't want an improvement in flow of money? So I will include that in the intention today. Normally it's much more wider than that initially, but I will include that in the intention. So I set an intention for the group, and I also pick up on what the themes are from the group of what is needed. But basically, the intention that I set is that you receive everything that you wish, and any obstacles to what your intention is are removed. Okay, so that's in the most basic form. So I set an intention, which is more general. And then I may add more specific intentions in as we go through the healing section. Your job is to set your own intention. So for those who haven't been on the call before, we set an intention always in the positive, meaning that we never say what we don't want in an intention. We always say what we do want. So whatever it is that you wish for. And we always set it in the present tense. And the present tense is really important because this is the only place that actually exists. And so therefore we have it in the present tense. And also it's part of the whole thing of abundance and understanding from a spiritual perspective that everything is already given. So it's in the present. It's not in the future. If you set an intention in the future, the universe gives you the intention of wanting it in the future. It doesn't give it to you in the now. So present tense, positively stated. So we don't say, I don't want my knee to hurt. You would say something like, my knee feels amazing. It has perfect functionality. It's really flexible, or anything you want to do. I can dance, skip, jump on it, and you can visualize all the things you wish you could do if it was working and functioning and optimally and beautifully. So always positively stated, always in the present tense. And so you will see me. I will probably have my eyes closed for some of this. If you know quantum touch, or you know any part of quantum touch, you too can add into this. You can do the technique as well. Anything to add into the vibration always helps. If you don't know quantum touch, and you don't know quantum touch breathing, you can breathe in a relaxed manner. Nice deep belly breaths. Why? Because when you breathe deeply, you signal to your vagus nerve and all parts of your system that you are relaxed. And if you're relaxed, you're safe. And if you're safe, you're okay to heal. Okay, so stress is the #1 cause of all illnesses. And so we want to be in a not stressed state that gives our body permission, mind, body, spirit permission to heal. So nice big breaths. If you don't know any quantum touch techniques or breathing, if you know any other breathing techniques, please feel free to use those if you want to. Apart from that, you can all relax. The only thing to say is that I usually add in sound healing as part of this. I'm a big believer in the power of sound. If you're sensitive to sound and you don't like sound, then I would turn the volume down. I usually give a notification before I start that I'm going to do some sound healing now. When I do it, it's usually quite loud because I'm listening for the harmonics. And so I need to hear it for myself. So that's why I do it quite loudly. But if you're sensitive to sound and you don't want to hear it, you can always mute it as well. That's up to you. But I do usually say before I'm about to do it. And to signal the end of the healing, I have a love tuner, frequency 528, the frequency of love. And that will be, when you hear that, you'll know that's the end of the healing. Okay, any last questions before we start on the healing section? Okay. Okay, so actually, so there's a couple of questions. So Leah, Leonie, I've seen your message as well. Tanya, I will record a message and put it on YouTube for you because that's quite a big question and I will answer it. But otherwise, we won't have a particularly long healing session. So I will answer that. If there's any questions in the chat box I've missed, I will record an answer and I'll let you know once it's on YouTube. Okay. Okay, so we will begin. So taking a nice deep breath and just that breath signaling to the mind, body, spirit that you're ready to start healing. And setting your intention for what you wish from the energy. What you'll hear is just my tuning fork. It's not too loud, but just to let you know. Okay, so I'm going to be adding in some sound healing. So coming back to the room whenever you're ready. And if anybody would like to share anything they experienced there, please feel free. It's always nice to hear people's experiences. If you don't wish to share, that's fine too. It's completely voluntarily. I did, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I feel like sound really amplifies the energy. I'm a big fan of sound being included in healing. It adds another dimension. So light being one dimension, sound being another vibrational dimension. Yeah, thanks, Tanya. Yeah, I'm still all fuzzy too. Because I'm feeling quite fuzzy from the sound healing. Yeah, I mean, when I teach quantum touch level 1, anyone who has learnt it with me will know I'm a big believer in suggesting that people not be self-conscious about using sound in healing, because it's very, very powerful. But I'm very, very fuzzy because of it. The first sound is from Supercharging Quantum Touch. The second sound is from Jonathan Goldman, who's a sound healer. And if you're on these calls regularly, you're probably used to the second one, probably more than the first one. But I love it. I find it really, really powerful. So I tend to always use that one. Okay. So if there's no comments, that's us done for this month. Yeah, I really like supercharging. Yeah, I like supercharging. I haven't done the course. I've only got the book. But I would be tempted to do the course, do the class, because it's I think it's got some really good techniques in there. It's probably the one out of all the books, it's probably the one I use the most, because I really like the sound and the colours that is and how they use the colours in supercharging. Yeah, yeah, I've only got the book too, but it is really good still. It is really good. So yeah. Leslie, Quantum Touch classes, are you saying, starting up in person at the end of May? Where in the UK, or where are you? Oh, so yeah, okay, UK. I'm not offering Quantum Touch classes this year online, in person, and there's a reason for that. I actually quite like doing online classes, and also I'm a big believer in learning distance healing up front rather than at the end of a course, and so I quite like online teaching and learning, and also I also don't think we're going to be scot-free and open up as much as we think we're going to. So I'm just going to keep them online for now. Okay. Oh, okay. You're not talking. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So I think that's us done for this month. Oh, okay. Nice to do it. Yeah. Okay. You know, I set some very, very big intentions for the group. Hopefully you'll have lots of lovely energy and everything you desire and wish for, because I set some very big intentions for the group. But I wish you all well for the following month, and hopefully I will see you next month too. It's always the same time, first Wednesday of every month, and same time, so it's 8 p.m. UK time. And in the meantime, any questions that I missed from the chat box, I will record and I will post that on YouTube, so I'll send you an email. Okay. All right, lovely. Thank you everyone for joining. Lots of love, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye. Bye, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I think I have to yell because I'm in the US.
Oh, okay. Okay, right.